I lived in like a high rise in East London with no front door and a gate on the door, no oven, just a microwave, no fridge. I put my milk on the balcony just to paint the picture of like where I was at that time in my life. It was rough. And honestly, what I thought is that how could I lose? Like at this point, I could always go and get another similarly not inspiring job. And so that idea of like fear of not failing was really key. But I also I've always been very honest with myself. Like, everybody has a voice in their head, and some people have a voice that like chats them up, it's like I do, but I also have that voice that's like, Emma, like, know what you don't know. Like, don't be too silly in this situation. So I think that I really, in that instance where I decided like, let's get out of this job and try to go and do something else, it was enough understanding of it wasn't that good where I was. If it really didn't work out, I could always get back into something like that. But also that thing that just says, what happens if you don't do it? Like for me, I was miserable and I really saw a better life for myself. And I was like, I will just regret this when I'm 35, for example. And so it was really about just going like, no one's going to take a chance on me. I have to take the chance on me. And then maybe someone else will be inspired to take a chance on me, which is ultimately what happened. I left that role. I got employed in another job. And then when I got into that job, my now husband and business partner at that time, they kind of saw me and they were like, well, this girl's like kind of good. She has something. And they ended up being my first investors when I was 25 years old.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Which was crazy, which to me, even at the time, it felt crazy. And I remember questioning, I was like, why would anyone invest in me? And then I thought, no, of course they'll invest in me. Who else are you going to invest in? Like, you might as well. I'm as good as anybody else out there. And that's when that thing started ticking in. So I think sometimes you've just got to not be too afraid to lose.
Yeah.
And the truth is, Jay, I have lost and failed more times than I've succeeded, right? We don't talk about that. That's not in the articles. I don't post that on Instagram. But that's just the fact. Like, I've made so many mistakes. Before I got here and had 3 very successful companies, I had a dog of an agency that I opened here in a very successful business that was thriving in London and thriving in New York. And I opened an office in LA and I embarrassed myself. I completely let the company down. I let the board down. I let the staff down. I underinvested. I did all of the classic mistakes. And, at the time I felt like it was the end of like my company and my career, but it wasn't. It was just a failure. I've had lots of things like that happen, lots of, public embarrassments and things that didn't work out. And it's, it sounds like such an obvious thing, but it's like, well, how do you recover from that? And so for me, it's like always been this thing of like, all right, well, I'll dust myself off. I've survived worse, and I think a lot of that comes from my upbringing. It's like you see a lot of stuff go down and you can get through things. Yeah. And I think I'm pretty good at getting through things.